Hello, I'm Cheryl Wilhoit, and this is my capstone proposal for a training development course for COM 550. Kids need role models. A lot of times a role model will be presented to children as their school teacher. It makes sense that those kids spend 5 days a week and 6 hours a day with that person. And so those people are the ones that we look to inspire children to achieve their full potential and to continue on to greatness. A lot of times those school teachers are coming from a different career. Troops to Teachers is a national program designed to help military service veterans transition from a career in the military to be a teacher kindergarten through 12th grade in various states. There is currently no training plan for the personnel that work within the Troops to Teachers program for either the counselors or the management. I think many of us have heard the old adage that you'll catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. That's a metaphor for trying to be nice to people and that people would appreciate that. Swartz in 2016 examined the use of, in a study by Moe in 2018, the ability of specifically arranged verbiage to denote a presentational tone allowed the readers to infer meaning and animate concepts without needing face-to-face communication. Swartz then, in 2016, examined the use of mobile phones for composing written messages and the creation of network between users of those messages, finding written messages to be less conversationally structured, but yielding more action on the part of participants in a network. In 2018, Elbert and Otts authored an article regarding the response of individuals to positively or negatively framed information, specifically people that were told benefits of something vice the negative repercussions were more interested in favorable actions for that person. How a message is framed to a participant for the program could positively or negatively affect that person and their participation and success in being certified as a teacher. Ultimately, a counselor for a program would want to influence the participant to take action, resulting in being certified and then eventually being able to be employed as a teacher with a school district. Hayden and Frisbee in 2018 did a study that researched the use of politeness as a method to allow students to save face with instructors and boost self-efficacy for learning and perceived emotional support. Their findings show politeness as improving learning outcomes and perceived emotional support from the instructor to the student. So basically, students who felt supported and capable performed better on written tasks. Along the same lines of emotional support, but over a distance relationship, Petronio and Bradford studied bonding via written communication between absentee fathers and their children. Their findings were that children were more likely to express feelings that they otherwise would not have face-to-face. The study supports the ability to build emotional support without face-to-face interactions. I think that people have been taught to associate colors with emotions and the emphasis from a young age. Those same people are now receiving messages from all sorts and filtering those meanings with color and image rules that they've developed from societal norms. In 1974, Gross highlighted the use of graphics as a more effective way of establishing meaning than written communication alone. In his study, there were three groups, one that had text and graphics, one that just had graphics, and one that just had text. Then they were asked to recall a message that they were given, and the group that had text and images was much more effective at remembering what it was that they had been told prior to than either of the other groups. Rorden researched the use of emojis to express emotion in written text in a study in 2017. I think most of us use our phone a lot for communication. The findings showed participants associated messages more with joy when it had more emojis than if it did not, and they were much more inclined to comply with requests containing more joy. Conversely, Jones, in his article in 1997, cautioned about the use of poor colors in imagery, specifically that it can be misguided and take away from the intended meaning. He also found, however, that appropriate placed color can speed comprehension of messages by assisting that person in organizing the information provided. Some of the limitations I've discovered, I think we've all played this telephone game where it started out as one message and by the time it got to the end it was skewed as it traveled the distance. Most of the participants in the Troops to Teachers program are not local. They're worldwide. They have varied access to various different communication modes, but the majority of them are online and they receive their counseling via email. very few call, but almost all of them are by email. The studies that were reviewed were mostly examining messages between asymmetrical relationships, meaning there was an instructor and student or a father and child. There may be some differences in findings if those messages were examined between peers or friends. The studies also examined more formal communication based off of those relationships being authoritative and submissive, as opposed to our cat here with the "What's up, Buttercup." The reason why that was actually there was more attention put in formal communication, as this is a government established program, and that is more of the communication style that is generally used. For the training and development course that I will do, that I will execute, it will be built to address the employment of polite language and methods, in the appropriate use of graphics and color to enhance meaning, not pull away from it. And counselors will be encouraged to focus on emotionally supporting participants by building self-efficacy in those members so they feel supported. The participants of the training and development course will be Mr. Ron Burton to the left. He is the director for the Florida State Troops to Teachers program. Colleen Dwyer there in the center, she is the manager of the program. And myself, Cheryl Wilhoit, I am the program coordinator. It will be an open forum style training. It'll be a full day of training, and it will have case studies and opportunities for us to brainstorm and share ideas so that we can best get a cohesive plan for the way ahead to make sure that we are using those concepts presented. For instrumentation, Troops to Teachers National Office requires quarterly reporting. So my intent is to compare the statistics from previous quarters that were prior to this training with statistics afterwards. The things that are reported is how many contacts have been made, and those contacts are made through Facebook has ads out. We also send recruiters out to bases to do recruiting events. And we also have word of mouth as well as information pushed to us from the national office. So we also pay attention to how many people actually registered for the program. Of those, how many become certified? And then, of course, how many are hired as new teachers? Additionally, I will be ensuring that we send the Survey Monkey to those who have been counseled by the members of the team, and they will receive that Survey Monkey after they've had 3 interactions with one of us in the office. So they'll receive a Survey Monkey that will be specifically centered on whether they felt supported and whether they felt that they were capable of achieving the certification requirements set forth. The relevance of this, the ultimate goal of the program is to assist veterans in their individual needs transitioning into a second career as a teacher, kindergarten through 12th grade. Conducting the training is a positive way to affect the methods used by the counselors that are interacting with the participants that directly influences those participants' actions toward completing certification and becoming eligible to teach in our schools. I think this more than justifies the training. I intend to prove the effectiveness of managed tone, color, imagery, and framed communication on behavioral outcomes for our program participants. Those are my references. I'm really looking forward to executing this training and development plan. Thank you so much.